So if you go to pull to refresh the screen and you look at my picture, this is the mural that Iran did I guess a week ago or so, and his picture was on top of Soleimani's picture, which Soleimani was dead and
Yeah,
got
I
broken. Yeah, yeah.
I
Did you
saw
see
that
that, right?
picture,
Yeah.
and
Uh-huh.
the government said it was a mistake.
Oh, really? Oh, shit.
Drew, in the
It's
picture, the former
interesting.
Iranian president is also in the picture who died in a helicopter crash a couple of years ago. It has nothing
Yeah,
to do with this war as well. So yeah, and
yeah.
that was not U.S. or Israel. So I'm not sure if that picture is actually
So,
whatever.
does anybody know where that mural's been painted? Have any Iranians verified that that is true? That they have seen it?
See what?
The mural in Iran.
And they expected to be paid.
What just Drew said?
Yeah. Has any
mural.
Iranian, has any Iranians that came on
Scary to me
Clubhouse,
wasn't quitting
like
and starting
again,
a company. It was when I
people
started
probably
hiring
live
my
all across
friends,
Iran or
and
wherever
they
it is.
expected to be paid.
No.
No,
The
nobody
thing
got
that
it.
was
I mean, so like I said, it could be AI generated too, right? We understand.
This looks really genuine, and the other thing is that it says the martyrs of this operation and etc. So it's like big. It says like the martyrs
the
of
thing that was scary.
American and Zionist guard etc. So it looks really on point with what like usually they put, because I grew up there, so I know exactly like how they do this kind of stuff.
Yeah, because we don't
No,
call
but my question was
we
people
don't call
speak to.
them martyrs. Like the Iranians that are freedom fighters, they call them not martyrs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the other thing that I just want to say is that like we do have a leader. That leader, you know, majority of people um, have Reza Pahlavi as their leader. So that's what people have been chanting all over Iran, inside Iran.
Yes, but we can't go to Iran yet because if he does go to Iran, he's gonna send us here.
Yeah. But as far as like leadership, we do have a leader. It's just that, yeah, of course they're gonna kill him if he goes right now. That would be insane.
What's gonna need to happen for anyone to take a singular leadership role to support the Iranian people is one faction of the military, not IRGC of course, is going to have to slip.
Yes,
But
exactly.
but the issue is that there is no military. There is no so the thing is RGC has taken over everything. Intentionally they've driven all the military out. So there is no like military in existence per se.
So that means the military now just regular civilians?
Sorry.
Mostly in military right now in Iran, mostly the commanders of the military and army, air force, all of these put by RGC. So they follow the order of IRGC. That's the problem. Not the normal soldiers. Normal soldiers are the good people, but the commanders of military are put in by RGC, and they are following the RGC's order.
See, the thing is, originally when the revolution happened, there were a lot of attempts of coup d'etat that failed, right? And after that, they got really scared, and that's how IRGC came to being. They just created this paramilitary to basically that are very loyal to basically suppress any military action. So over the years, especially after Ahmadinejad took over, IRGC not only became the militia but also took power of everything from like economy or any like big oil factions. So they basically run the country at this point.
Hey Sam, can I ask you a question? This is very interesting. Because
I know I'm familiar with one very large city, with Edo, Tokyo, right? Japan for like 500 years had all these wars where different parts of the country would rip each other apart. But when the Tokugawa, the main, I guess you could call him the main IRGC of ancient Japan, whatever so what he did is every time all the generals, they'd have to live in the capital city and they'd have to come and stay there. And anytime they left the capital or anytime they left the country, which they rarely ever got to do, their family had to stay very close to the central government. And in this way, the leaders could guarantee that nobody would ever sort of, what would you say, turn against the IRGC. There's all these mechanisms to make sure people were loyal. And as far as I understand, the IRGC is sort of somewhat built this way, where they check each other's loyalties and they live literally in specific areas in Tehran, close to the government. Is that correct?
That's correct. The other thing is that the best analogy is like in the mob. You know how like in the mob, like you see these like TV shows, how the mob is, where they try to test each other all the time, and they want to make sure that somebody's loyal, nobody's like ratting. All this stuff happens in real life, and they are always checking themselves. And this whole system have had like a lot of examples where they make an example of somebody who is disloyal. So for example,
and the whole family will suffer, not just that person.
Exactly.
The extended family, everyone. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I think the biggest problem that we're at right now, that the entire world is at, is that neither, and this is just my humble opinion, I'm sure you guys probably disagree with this, but I don't believe that the United States, Israel, or Iran all have I don't believe it's kind of a stalemate where none of them have very, very clear objectives. It's not super clear what they want from each other.
Hey, by the way, Matthew, I just wanted to tell you. He just left. Oh, damn. The Kasra guy was in Iran right now, and we were asking him questions as far as what's going on over there and all that stuff. So, but he just left.
Yeah, I love studying history. When I look at war, it's like chess. It's like there's a million different things you could do, but there's only a few good options for anybody on the table. And the way I look at warfare, it's like geography is everything. Geography is everything. That's why the United States is so strong. Nobody could possibly ever invade or attack the United States or Canada or Mexico. And we're all good friends. We've got these massive oceans, right? Our cities are so distant from one another. Our water systems are amazing. You have rivers running north and south like the Mississippi, and then you have Orange Seaway. And they're deep, and they don't freeze over in the wintertime. Geography rules everything, and I think this is what sort of Trump and has learned, and I think all his generals before him said, look, attacking Iran, we played it out a billion times, wargaming it. It's just the geography. There's like no good decisions when it comes to it. But I don't know. I don't know. My understanding of the situation is very limited.
Yeah, you would be a great general.
I highly doubt that.
No, you sound like you know everything about wargaming and how the military operates.
No, but I'm just saying, I think geography is a big consideration, right? I'm not,
Well,
I don't know much.
you said like, oh, they wargamed this, like, so sounds like you know what you're talking about.
Well, they did war game it, and this is so I'm 48, and I can remember watching Ted Koffel, whatever, on NBC Nightline News when I was probably 12 or 13. And I remember him specifically saying that they had war gamed the situation out many, many times.
So how many years ago was that?
Well, I'm 14, 48, what is that?
Ted Koppel.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot has kind of changed in particular technology that would help neutralize the whole issue with what you're talking about with geography. Do they war gain this? Yes, just like the military expeditionary warfare school in Quantico. Um, that class has to always for years they had to war game Gaza, Palestine, and Israel. Like they did that for years. But to think blindly that they don't have, and what you said, like, oh, no one, Israel and Iran and the USA don't have, don't know what they're doing is kind of a far stretch, but
Well,
since
what?
you know so much.
No. It's just as I said, I could be wrong. What is the clear objectives of the United States, for example?
In the Iran war?
Yeah.
Wow. To weaken China to such a point without having a full-blown war with China. Whatever doing in Iran, they don't want to do the same thing with China. They don't want bombs flying from China, and they don't want bombs flying to China. Because that's going to be the end of the world. Trust me. Because if they go out to then China is a big threat to America. So if you can hit China indirectly, and that was what America is doing, they're hitting China through Iran indirectly without actually throwing bombs on China. So clearly it wasn't really a war declared on China, but it's still a war on China.
It's the
So
word
this is a war to like indirectly remove a threat from China.
Correct. Before it becomes a threat. So the problem is with people like Pepe, for example, that he mentioned, or I wouldn't even say Pepe because I don't want to start the whole thing with Pepe, but other Americans that I've been hearing, they don't have the bomb. Why are we attacking them? So you want to attack them once they have the bomb? Right? Same thing. Are we attacking North Korea? No, North Korea is a threat, but we know they have a bomb, and this is the only reason why we're not, because North Korea has nothing to lose. Americans have something to lose. Americans love life. North Koreans are in prison. They're brainwashed. They're willing to die for the cause. You're not willing to die for the cause.
And they're isolated. They're isolated on the world stage as well.
But Robbie, that's a dumb argument. You know why?
Why?
We shouldn't like done what you're doing right now. They're stupid people.
Correct, but that's why I asked. But that's why I
Because
asked
once
you
they
to
have
wait.
nuclear weapon,
We can't.
it's either World War III or your empire is gone.
Correct. I
It is
ocean.
absolutely gone.
I
It's not
agree.
because
Okay, but North Korea can wipe out South Korea.
Pepe, it's not because they're going to nuke you. They're going to destroy you and your economy.
Yeah, it's not that. Again, why wait?
And if you don't know how that works,
Pepe, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a different question. Like, this is the question I ask Americans. If I'm getting threatened, hold on.
The communist
Hold on. Ocean, hold on. I can get threatened. You can say, Rafi, I'm gonna kill you. Fuck you, Rafi, I want your whole family dead. I'm gonna kill your whole family. I don't give a fuck. But if I find out the same guy who keeps saying every single day he wants me dead and my family dead, goes and buys a gun, and I find out he already has a gun now, I should be worried. Yeah, those words meant nothing. But why do I have to wait until he purchases that gun?
You neutralize the threat.
Prior to it, of course. That's why in America, there's probably a charge for utterance. Doesn't mean that you fucking, you actually went out on your threat
I want
and
to
actually
say something.
did something.
Whoever lives in Ohio, please, this November, go ahead and vote for Vivek Ramaswamy. I think he's a very good option in the Republican Party. Thank you so much.
Why wait till the threat is
I mean,
there?
we
If
look
you
at North
know-
Korea
if you know it's
as-
building up.
They don't have the delivery vehicles in order to.
Pepe, but
Look, they can try. They can do something to South Korea. Absolutely.
they can even do something to make America. Listen, North Korea is not a fan of America. If they know America isn't at work today, they can go fucking sell the nuke to Iran. They don't have to use their own nuke. They can let Iran use it. And that's already a threat of North Korea of having
Okay,
nukes
so what's their
because,
point?
because they can sell it. Because my point is, when a person constantly threatens the nation you say you love, one time once they threaten, that should be done and put to rest. You're not going to allow them to continue threatening you. And when there is credible sources between the intelligence agencies that your government has in place, that's why you sleep very well every single night. You go and you get into your little comfortable blankets and you sleep with your smile, with a smile on your face, because of that intelligence that America has.
Sure. So
Okay,
you
and
make
they tell you this is a fucking threat. Okay?
sure. So,
You're
but
gonna
this
act out
is
on that
where it
fucking
becomes
threat
laughable,
before.
though, is that our intelligence agencies, so they were against us doing these strikes in Iran or Iran, because they felt like, you know, first of all, the Strait of Hormuz, of course, the Atlantic,
The Strait of Hormuz is an economical point. It's nothing to do as a threat to America.
sure,
It's
yeah,
economical.
that's the one of the few things they can weaponize.
If that intelligence agency had a comment on that, it's the same thing as Robert De Niro or any of these fucking actors that have any fucking opinion on political topics. That's how you take that agency then, or that spokesperson.
No.
That's
They're not.
They had something on the Strait of Hormuz. I'm sorry to say, because Hormuz is more of an economical strategic point.
Obviously.
It's to hit them economically. It's nothing to do military.
But it's hitting us hard, you know.
No.
It's hitting you hard. It's hitting you hard in the
Military. No,
pocket.
because it involves
It's
involves
hitting you
their
hard,
military.
but
Because they're
that's nothing to
literally
do with-
using
are you-
cheap drones and sea
Okay.
mines and that kind of shit to literally
Okay.
halt the Strait of Hormuz. You know, people passing. And
Okay,
so.
let them do
And
that.
this was something that our intelligence agencies, you know, said like, well, like, look, dude, this is the real problem with Iran. This is where they can cause pain, mostly to the whole world.
So hold on. So if they're causing pain to the whole world, you know that they can't cause pain. Now you see that they're acting out on this pain. They don't give a fuck. They are causing the pain to the whole world. So are they a threat to the world because they don't give a fuck?
Well, if they're being attacked, man.
Yeah, but you're asking. That's like, okay, but they're doing this in a defensive posture. It's totally different.
Listen,
It's not possible. It's not possible to have control over the entire world. Like, there's always going to be enemies. You know, like if they
ask you something?
Go for it.
Who's taking the most advantage of current situation at the Strait of Hormuz?
Well, right now it's been checkmate by America.
no, I probably economically, probably those guys that are trading in what is that?
No, the ones
The
that are
billionaires that are trading
the biggest ones that are taking the Arab Gulf nations are taking it because they can't move the oil. Those are number one people that are taking hit, and the second people that are taking the most hit of it is the Europeans that were buying the oil from that region because their prices are now going up. That's who's taking a hit. Also, the major hit that America's interest is China. Because now China's oil is now reduced to a certain percentage. So if China decides to do any action towards Taiwan, right, they can't. They can't afford it because for a military to operate, they need 100% of that oil. And now there's such a big chunk of
We
it.
had a close Spirit Airlines, and like it doesn't have trickling effects throughout the fucking world.
That's nothing to do with Spirit Airlines. Spirit Airlines were fucking already second time trying to bail out. That has nothing to do with fucking wars. What is the first thing?
No, it has everything to do with it. It was the price of literally the price.
Spirit didn't go up because of gas. It didn't go out. It was already failing. It filed two bankruptcies. It had mismanaged business model, and it was denied 2 possible mergers. And one was blocked by the federal government, even though, because JetBlue wanted to reform their business practices, and they had been losing money year after year.
So, Pepe, it had nothing to do with it.
Can I add one more part of that?
Of course.
It also is not the gas. It was almost like their best way to exit strategy because within their business insurance, they can blame a cause of war to be a decline in business, so they can file a claim for that against their insurance carrier. That's the reason why as well.
Correct. And also, they asked the government for a bailout, and Trump went to Wall Street and asked, and the financiers said, absolutely not with their business model. We won't invest in that. We won't go ahead and do it. Yeah, that was the overwhelming. Like nobody wanted it.
That's why they took the insurance money instead.
And it wasn't. And if the government didn't interfere with the capitalism approach and allowed JetBlue and them to merge, and then they could have probably kept some of the rates lower than the rest of the carriers, but they would have been able to stay in business. They would have been flying today.
The problem is, Viking, Americans had it so good for so fucking long that they allowed this to happen.
Facts.
And now the fact is, they say good times produce weak men, hard times produce strong men.
I'm confused. Why have I not been assigned command to ship in the fleet, sir? Well, I thought you would be here when you are. You've commented on the lack of senior officers available for this mission. I believe my 26 years of Starfleet service qualifies me for such a post. However, if you do not feel the time has arrived for an android to command a starship, perhaps I should address myself to improving.
Commander, I believe the starship Sutherland will need a captain. I think of no one better suited for that task.
Thank you, sir. I'm Lieutenant Commander Data. Lieutenant Commander Christopher Hunt. By order of Starfleet, I hereby take command of this vessel. Excuse me, sir. I'd like to request the transfer. May I ask why? I don't believe I'd be a good first officer for you. Your service record to date suggests you would perform that function adequately. No, that's not what I mean. I don't think I'd be a good first officer for you. Frankly, sir, I don't believe in your ability to command this ship. By the same token, I doubt that an android is a good choice to be captain. Request denied. May I ask a question, sir? Of a personal nature. I'm confused. Why have I not been assigned to command a ship in the fleet, sir?
Well, I thought you would be
Well, what about the 2 past decades that they've been taking advantage of the U.S. economy, and we're not getting anything for it? It wasn't a fair export. Why do you think all the U.S. companies went overseas to produce? Hello? It's like, okay, so now we're trying to neutralize and come back to the median of what we were and kind of bring back the structure and make things fair again. Sorry if people don't like it. Sorry if Europe doesn't like it. I don't give a rat's ass, honestly. But if you let someone tell you I'm going to threaten you, and you don't eventually check them, they're going to keep on doing that. So the fact that we're checking them now just prevents them to keep doing this to not just us, but even their Arab partners right now, or their Arab neighbors right now. They're going to keep doing this. They needed to be neutral.
Their Arab neighbors right now, like the Gulf nations, are being better allies than the Europeans today to them.
Look at UAE.
That's the saddest thing, that the Gulf nations right now are better partners and allies to the Americans than the fucking America who made the EU,
and
who allowed the EU to prosper the way they did.
And was that the case during Iraq War? Nope. OIF? Nope.
That is the saddest fucking thing.
Yep.
People are saying is, and even like Israel, for example, me myself, yeah, I'm Jewish, right? But at the end of the day, when shit hit the fan, Israel went straight with America. Not like the Europeans. I don't want to dig up Israel or anything in that matter, but they went. Israel is the only country that America will give money to, that will re-spend it back in America to re-stimulate the American economy like any other nation that wouldn't. And Israel is the only country that actually gives back to America. Forget about that money. In technology, medicine, any other way. We even fucking cybersecurity to fucking just in general information that they share for security reasons compared to any other country that America works with. And that is so fucking sad that Americans don't see that. Especially the Americans are burning their own fucking flags in America. That is the most disgusting fucking thing I would have to say, I've ever seen in my life.
Well, it's not even that, it's just the IRGC apologists. Like, oh, we just need to leave them Iranians alone, let them solve their own problem. Yeah, I get that to a point, but then to be against America, but then be okay with IRGC, like, that's so fucking odd.
I have some news, guys. Political analysts, Middle East affairs are posting that the Iranian media says loud explosions were heard in Qishm Island, Bandar Abbas, and Bushehr, after unknown fighter jets bombed the areas. It's apparently the UAE hitting back.
Ooh, that's good.
The UAE's in now? They're officially
Yeah,
in
they're
this?
officially in. They
Well,
said that
That's new. No. This news was this morning. What are you talking about?
No.
Father, can you check this?
Okay, hold on. What did it say at the end? What did you read?
This is from 37 minutes ago. Breaking.
No, this news
Iranian media says. Iranian media.
Azizam, Habibti. This news came out this morning. I checked the news this morning. It's Dashman Bandar Abbas. But now my question is, what was the rest of it? Because you said apparently UAE is hitting Iran.
Yeah, why the UAE?
Where does it say
I don't get your
UAE
question. It
hitting
says
Iran?
it is the political analyst of the UAE that's saying breaking. Iranian media says loud explosions were heard in Qishm Island,
Oh
Bandar
my
Abbas,
God.
and
Where
Bushehr.
does it say UAE is hitting Iran?
Hold on, Ocean, before
He
you
says,
go off
I
on Glow.
quote,
One second, Glow, one
keep
second.
hitting them
We
hard,
have-
you
we have-
mystery kings. Who are the
Hold
mystery
on,
kings?
Father, are you with us right now?
Yeah, right here. I'm
Can you
checking
check on your app?
Yeah.
So, see if there's any updates on your app and when your updates came in on that one.
UAE has kings.
It's from 6 hours ago. There were some explosions heard, but they have told that it's just some drones, something like this. But it's from 6 hours ago.
Oh, mine is recently.
No,
37.
30 minutes back, the officials of the Islamic Republics have reacted to that. That's it.
Oh, they confirmed it just now.
Yeah, but the explosions were 6 hours back.
Oh, okay.
Mayor Flash.
This
is on behalf of the American
The only
people.
thing I have news is
Say
that
God bless
some ships got hit in the Hormuz. The recent
So
ones.
the French.
No, it's after that. It's after that one, Rafi.
So I, as of an hour ago, French-owned cargo ship near Dubai hit by cruise missile, several crew injured. This is Iranian forces launched interceptor missiles and Apache-type helicopters over Dubai, causing multiple explosions in the city. A cruise missile struck French-owned cargo vessel 36 nautical miles north of Dubai, injuring several Filipino crew members. Now, I think this one was the one this morning, right?
No, he says that Ocean heard something about the Harg Island.
Bro, no.
What you just said
There's a
was
city called
yesterday.
Bash. There's a city called Bash. What is it? The QESHAM, and then there's another city called Bandar Abbas. These cities, there were people heard explosions, and there was explosions in those cities earlier today. That's what they said. That's what the Glow said. That was the news that Glow read. But she's assuming UAE is hitting Iran, which I doubt it.
That's why I was
Ocean.
surprised that the Arabs were allowed to join because they were told to stand down too.
Do you know that UAE bombed Iran before the ceasefire?
Wait, what happened?
No, I didn't know that.
UAE, that's one of the news that kind of disappeared among all of those conflict and other news about, like between Iran and the US. On the last day before the ceasefire, UAE bombed Lawan's area, like the old area, with F-15 ceasefire, but no one talked about that.
But hold on, like when America and Israel are bombing, they're bombing strategically. They're sharing intel, information, military bases, maybe weaponry storages, and so on. Does the UAE just went out to bomb Iran, or they knew exactly what they went to bomb? Because I don't think America and Israel are sharing this information with the UAE, all the locations and all the spots. Like, where would they get this information? Like, what did they even, like, what was their target they even went for?
So let me see. Okay, so what I just said, there was an attack on the hit on the CGM in San Antonio, which is owned by a French firm. Took place on Tuesday evening local time. Said the ship was near Dubai as of midday. Okay, so we know about that. I'm not seeing anything on. I'm not seeing anything on at least yet. I've got to search a little more.
No, no, they figured it out.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, Ocean, Massa, figured it out. All I know is I got today news that 2 vessels got hit in the Strait of Hormuz by Iran.
What?
So
Today by Iran, 2 vessels got hit. I don't know which vessels it's.
So here's the global situation summary. I guess this is from what the app says. Tensions remain elevated across several hotspots, with the U.S. Coast Guard reporting a repelled Iranian attack on the Strait of Hormuz and the intense activity reported in Israel, Lebanon, southern Lebanon, and Kharkiv, Ukraine. Meanwhile, a high-profile legal case in Delmore, Michigan, is concluded with the former. Say much.
It's enough.
If you refresh the page, I just put it on my profile. It's just a AR Gemini search engine. I can just put the link if you want, but that's about bombing Lavan's area by the UAE before the ceasefire.
Yeah, the U.S. did. They did fire before UAE got hit this morning. So I think they were U.S. hit. I think they hit last night, or maybe early in the morning, my time. So yeah, there was another report on that. The U.S. did strike before the UAE hit this morning, and then but I didn't see anything about UAE hitting back, but I wouldn't be surprised if we hear about that later.
Well, the question is, when are they going to start hitting again?
Well, I think this time there's going to be no warning. You know, like last time there was a warning, and they set the girls up on the bridges and everything else, and this and that. I think this time if Trump were to strike again, no warning at all. He'll just fucking do it. You know what I mean? Because that'll
Each
give them
scoop is a
time
portal to
you
infinite
know,
flavor
people on the
dimensions.
streets, blah blah blah.
From Nebula Blackberry.
I think this time it's no warning.
And every time Trump says that he's going to have negotiations with them, that is exactly the moment that he strikes.
Well, when it was power plant bridge day, guess what? All the girls were all they lined them all up in the front of the power plants and on the bridges and all that stuff. You know, because that's what the RGC does.
Ocean, can I give you an update real quick?
Oh,
Hi, yeah, of course. KK?
Yes, yes, it's KK. I just came back in the room to tell you that Vivek won by 82% the primary in Ohio.
Yeah, I know. And when I heard it, I got really happy because I like the guy.
Yeah,
He's very sharp.
I just wanted to let you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, I really cannot wait to see him, in high positions. I like the guy. He's really good.
Yeah, he's good. He's very very smart. He just needs needs a little bit of fine tuning, but very very good.
I remember the Prime Minister of Iran coming out. Ocean, can you translate what he said? He said, there will not be a war. We will not negotiate, and there will not be war. Can you translate what he said, please? It was so fucking fun. مذاکره نخواهیم کرد. جنگ هم
Who
نخواهیم
said that though?
what's his name? Was it Khamenei himself?
Yeah, it was the first.
It was. Yeah.
Do you know what he said? Can you do it?
We will
War,
not
war
negotiate.
not gonna happen. We won't do negotiate.
And then what happened?
War
Yeah,
not gonna
he
they
said,
need to negotiate.
we're not gonna negotiate. There's never gonna be a war, shit like that. And you know what the funniest shit that they said? It was the leader who died, the supreme leader who died. He said, it is true that the U.S. have the most advanced military equipments and shit, and they're very scary. But it's scarier than that